Yes.
Keebo.
Okay. His psyche drifted erratically between human and beast. If he accepted himself as human, it might cause memories better left buried to return to him. If he accepted himself as a beast, in exchange for his memories, he would no longer be able to rejoin human society. The white-haired girl fervently supported him in these precarious times. I was quite amazed. I had never imagined she would grow to be such a strong woman. Nevertheless, God is a cruel master. For what strength he gave her spiritually, he took in equal part from her physically. Though she persisted day in and day out to stay by the man's side, one day she suddenly fell ill. With her in the throes of a high fever and not knowing the cause, he fell into a perpetual panic. There was no medicine in the mansion. They could hardly manage to put together sufficiently nutritious meals. Though there was no medicine, maybe there was something else that could make her feel better. However, everything he could think of required him to leave the house.
Hey. Is there anything you would like?
Anything I would like?
I'm considering visiting the village.
I see. You're going to the village.
I thought I might be able to get some medicine. I would prefer to bring a doctor here, but no one would come if they learned you were in this mansion. So,
He was planning to put on a disguise to enter the village as a person. The white-haired girl smiled when she heard his idea. She had, after all, always wanted him to think of himself as human. However, because she was so pure-hearted, she did not comprehend the full extent of the slaughter he had confessed to committing. The revenge he had taken on those who had chased him around. How sinister his cackling and furious his reaping. She did not grasp just how serious it was. She had faith that Vistia had kindness in his heart.
If you cannot get any medication, then buy me some oranges, please.
oranges.
This is a land blessed by the sun. You should be able to find some wonderful oranges, fresh oranges.
Would that make you feel better?
Yes, it should.
Okay.
Vistia's mind was made up. He would don the skin of a human for her, to protect the peace he had. He would return to the place that had left him with many painful memories. It was, to him, the source of his fear. Whenever he let his guard down, their shouts would play back in his mind.
Bestia! Bestia!
Hideous beast!
Though he had physically conquered the people who lived there, Vistia's memories of the village still haunted him. But her health meant more to him than any of that. He was willing to cast aside his fear if it meant the white-haired girl would recover. The girl still in her bed, he made his way out of the mansion. He crossed the overgrown forest, pushing forward one step at a time, all the while trying to brush aside his apprehension, until he arrived at the village.
This is where they called me a beast, where I was almost killed, and where I killed them. I look different than I did then. I'm dressed differently too, but can I play the part? Can I act a convincing enough human? I have no choice. There are no other villages. I can't let her die. Excuse me? Could you answer a question for me? A village man is looking at me. Only for a moment. But for me, that moment is torturously long. A faint look of panic crosses his face. Perhaps in fear of my appearance. He's staring at me. Will he point his finger and call me a beast? Will the other villagers come to kill me? However, Greg.
I haven't seen you around here before.
He didn't recognize me. Yes, I come from a faraway land, and I'm unfamiliar with this area, so...
You're dressed like a nobleman. On a secret trip or something?
Something like that.
You look really pale. Wow. Searching for a doctor?
Yes, but not for me. My companion has come down with a fever.
Sorry to hear it. Well, I'd love to introduce you, but he's out right now. He won't be back for a few days.
I see. Never might be able to buy fruit.
There's a shop just round that corner.
Thank you very much.
Don't mention it. Do take care, traveler. It's dangerous out there.
I'm starting to attract attention, but not the same kind as before. They don't look at me with revulsion, hatred, or furious indignation. They're simply curious. The village feels different than last time. Could I have changed this drastically? Or is it because I really did look like a beast then? Now I look like a human? I don't know. Excuse me? Greg.
Me? Yes?
I would like to buy some fruit. Some oranges.
Oranges? Alrighty. Just a sec.
The fruit vendor doesn't recognize me as the beast either.
Any other year and they'd be a lot plumper than this. But this year, we've had the end of the war and this whole mess with the beast. It's just been crazy. If you'd like, how about you come back in a few years and try our oranges again? They'll be several times better, I assure you.
I'll keep that in mind.
You bet. That'll be...
I'm sorry, I don't have any local currency. Would this suffice?
How... is...
No good, I take it?
No. On the contrary, it's hardly fair for you, trading a jewel for a few oranges.
That's all I have to offer. I hope you can exchange it for money.
Sure. You nobles are something else.
Noble.
Aren't you? Though if you wander around dressed too well, you put yourself in danger. You might find yourself stripped bare by a bandit, or perhaps even catch the attention of the beast.
The beast. Everyone mentions the beast. They speak of me.
Have you heard the tales?
I have not.
There is a beast den not too far from this village. It's attacked before, and we've been living in fear, never knowing when it might attack again. But that all ends today. The men have finally found their spines. They all got together and went out to exterminate it.
What?
You'll never guess who was responsible. A kid! A little boy is spearheading the attack. Never would have expected a little kid to whip all our lazy, cowardly men into shape. The boy's the only one who knows where the beast den... hold on.
Huh.
What about your oranges?
The men have banded together. They're gonna kill the beast? Why now? Why when I'm not there? I'm the beast. I'm right here. I'm what you're trying to hunt. The only person at the mansion right now is her.
He regretted not asking the fruit vendor how long ago the party set off. Though what good would that knowledge have done him? He had to hurry back regardless. The sun was beginning to set, draping the surroundings in a deep blackness. As if to keep him from returning home, the night wrapped its hands around his head, covering both eyes. In what direction did he have to head to return to the mansion? He stormed through the forest, and eventually the mansion appeared before him, like the world fading into view after a dream. The Exio was a tempest in the night, blowing through the overgrowth toward the house.
Please make it in time. I need her. I need the peace that she provides me. The last thing I want is for her to die.
In the blink of an eye, he was through the door, charging down the mansion's hall. He could not sense anyone else inside, though. All he could hear was the whoosh of the wind blowing into the house from somewhere. It seemed a window was open.
What? Where are you? Where are you gone? Answer me! Please, answer me!
He cried out the girl's name again and again until his throat was sore and his voice hoarse. But she did not respond. He rushed into her bedchamber.
Hey, hello? Where are you? Where are you? Answer me!
The man swung his head back and forth so hard he thought he might break his own neck, and when he made to look down, he slipped, falling on his tailbone. He felt something slick on his hands, a sensation he would recognize anywhere. The liquid was still warm.
No, that cannot be. It can't. It can't. It cannot be!
Muttering incomprehensibly in fear, he crawled back through the door of her chamber and into the corridor. Like a genuine beast, he followed the trail of slippery fluid on all fours. The trail glimmered like red wine. It stretched down the hall, past the living room, smeared across the floor like it had been wiped down with a mop. The man crawled and crawled and crawled until at last he reached the stairs leading down to the cellar. The ruby trail continued. From beyond the door, he could hear men's voices. With a howl, the man stumbled down the stairs, throwing open the wooden door. His first impression was that the stench of blood was suffocating. And indeed, there he discovered the white-haired girl. He found himself unable to even scream. Her once porcelain skin was no longer even sickly pale. It was now the bloodless color of dirt. She was sprawled haphazardly out on the cellar floor, dried blood stains around her half-open mouth. And those lips were, naturally, lacking their former rosy sheen. Her body was covered with an array of wounds, but the most prominent was the man's singular sword standing tall in her chest.
This is the bestia? He doesn't look like the same... It's him. He's the same guy. He's the bestia.
Several villagers surrounded him at the behest of the young boy.
Got himself dressed up all proper and fancy. Good clothes don't make him a good man. Isn't that right, you bestia? No! You murderer!
Why? Why did you kill her? Why'd you kill her? Why did you kill her? Why'd you kill her? Why'd you kill her? Why'd you kill her?
Why? You want to know why? Her death was an accident, I'd say. I feel bad about what happened. But any woman who would live with a man like you must be a witch. Does that hurt? Are you hurting right now, you bestia? Then maybe now you understand. You not only stole my parents and friends from me, you ripped the last shard of hope I had from my hands. Do you get it? Do you finally understand how I feel? Now do you know how it feels to have someone you care about taken from you? She, Pauline, was desperately trying to find you. Why? Why would you kill someone so devoted to you? Do you understand what you've done? I'm asking you a question, you goddamn murderer!
See. And now, had nothing left.
What?
The man stepped forward, almost perfectly calm. His panic had vanished, as if it were never there. His eyes were disturbingly vacant. Perhaps the sorrow had overpowered him, beating his heart into quiet submission. No, that was not the case. Though his eyes were empty, a faint smile spread across his lips. The transition was swift, as though a gear had switched in his mind. The boy and the other villagers were frozen in place at the sight. Before long, the man was standing before the deceased girl's body. And then he pulled the blade from her chest.
I knew it. I really was a beast. And what I wanted was a tether.
What are you yammering on about? Didn't you care about that woman? Didn't you choose her over Pauline? Who you then threw aside and butchered? What is wrong with you? What was she to you?
She was my serenity. But she's dead now. There's nothing I can do about that. Peace. Calm. Tranquility.
The man's behavior was downright eerie, causing the boy to flinch back. Believing he'd had everything taken from him and could not possibly lose anything more was, I imagine, what had allowed him to stand up to the beast, the source of such crippling fear. Yet now he found himself unable to move. He found himself in the face of such an incomprehensible creature, paralyzed with fear. And the villagers were similarly dumbstruck. Not even I could understand his behavior.
What the hell is wrong with you? How can you laugh at this? I don't get it.
How indeed? I wonder myself. I don't know either. But you know what? It doesn't matter anymore. Because every last one of my anchors has broken off and sunk into the sea.
Damn it, get moving, kill!
I'll kill! Slaughter! Slaughter every one last one of you! Ah, yes. My whole life, I've always wanted to kill!
What was it that afflicted you with such madness? Losing your memory in the shipwreck? The abuse and insult you suffered at the villagers' hands? Or was it your grief at not being able to return to your homeland? No, none of those were the roots. You were always like this. You always bore those twisted desires. You held these deep, constant urges to cause others harm. That is your essence. The real you, hidden beneath the mask of sincerity. The true beast was your heart. The beast was a convenient skin for you to wear. You wanted to be a brutal, savage murderer. You never really loved the white-haired girl, or the black-haired woman for that matter. You were merely attached to them, fixated on the idea of a world of tranquility. You used this peace to anchor yourself, to prevent you from drifting off into the ocean of your desires. You yearned to cause pain, while also hungering for the opposite, a calm life. You idolized this idealized life, spent in quiet harmony with another, because you knew just how difficult it would be for you to attain. Far more difficult for you than satisfying your cravings, but not impossible. I, personally, had hoped you would find peace with someone rather than descend into savagery. It may have only been superficial, but it would have been very human. But ultimately, peace slipped through your fingers, and no one was left to suppress your desires. You cannot, after all, hold them back yourself. What a tragic man. What a hopeless man you are. The door to the cellar swung shut. Is this going to be, I think this might be, this is Greg the narrator. We are back at the house.
Yeah, when they're saying you, right? So.
Yes,
oh,
and...
Intermission. 2 minutes.
Okay.
How dare you?
You know, I think
Well,
Lena would be a pretty good Joker. He'd be like a good Batman and a good Joker.
You get what you deserve.
Like he can do the Batman voice and the laugh.
Mhm. Well, guys, I need to ask because it seems like we're finished. Which one did you like more, the first one or the second one?
I mean, definitely the first one.
The first one for me.
Yeah.
First
I
one's
think it was an easy pick.
It seems to be a common thing from what I've seen when people like rank the doors that they put the second one as kind of the last.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. You had fallen to the floor at some point, unable to bear the stench of blood. The maid stood behind you, her arms wrapped around your shoulders. The maid's voice was chillingly gentle.
That was quite horrific, wasn't it? Are you feeling unwell, Master?
I just needed water.
Oh my, you're shaking, Master. Fear not. I assure you, the beast will not come through that door. I am here for you, and I will continue to hold you for as long as you need to settle your nerves. Oh dear, you feel like you might freeze in my arms? Am I really that cold? I cannot tell my own temperature. You wish to know what happened to Vestia after that? I could open the door once more and show you. But I have no intention of knowingly tossing you back into that den of horrors. He lost the rest of his humanity, becoming wholly beast. But, To tell just a little more of the tale, it's my understanding that an entire village was ravaged shortly thereafter. He was a bewitchingly talented swordsman. Not a single person living in that village could stand up to him. In the woman's memories you saw, he was a gentleman, yes? But even the mildest of men can change. Though, personally, I believe that without an element of monstrousness buried somewhere within, a man cannot become a beast, regardless of what may push him in that direction. Do you follow? Now tell me, Master, have you remembered anything? Oh dear, I was afraid of that. I am a remarkably patient maid. I shall accompany you for as long as you require. So do please find your memories. Now, let us head to the next door. The mansion is quite large, so hold on to my hand. We would not want to get separated.
You and the maid travel down the dimly lit hall, passing by the mirror once again. The light from the candle in the maid's hand was the only thing that reflected in it. The maid herself did not appear. However, just as you were about to avert your eyes, you thought you caught a glimpse of white hair. You heard a voice echo in the darkness. And when you turned to face the mirror again, the glass was the color of obsidian, as if it had been painted over. The voice seemed to be coming from beyond the mirror. The maid did not turn back, evidently having not heard anything. You extended your hand toward the darkness overrunning the mirror. The second your hand brushed against the surface, the tips of your fingers sunk into it. And the next thing you realize, your whole world was sinking into darkness. You could hear a voice.
I am. Oh, it's light.
Well,
I am the witch.
Light.
It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe you should take a little break. You want to keep going? No? Alright then. This deep in the forest? Thank you very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I am looking for. Yes. He could have said something. Oh well. I should get going, I guess. Does no one live here? But if that's the case, then why was I such a big door? Please open. It's not locked, I guess. I wonder if the window's open. Darn. Not a hint of light. Hello? Is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. What do we have here? Drapes? I see. A little light behind. It's so pretty. It looks like an angel? Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'll be...
Please, do not touch the drapes. Or the windows.
I'm sorry for coming in uninvited. But, I did announce myself. Is this, your mansion?
It is.
Thank goodness. I was afraid it was deserted.
I suspect you would prefer if the house were abandoned.
Oh, not at all. I would be scared to death staying in this dark mansion all by myself. I'm sorry. No ill will intended. I do think it could do with some light. And that way, you could see where you were walking. And I'm sure this room would look splendid, illuminated.
Not necessary. I make do perfectly as well as things are.
How can you see when it's so dark?
I have an abundance of candles and oil for lamps. I am not in want of means of creating light. It is not your place to criticize my lifestyle. If you need light, you're free to leave. You're in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not too far away from here. Trade it for food to make your way to a larger town.
I am no longer able freely to return to the city. I cannot go back. Please, don't chase me out.
I see. And do you ask this of me, aware of how people refer to this mansion?
They say that a witch lives here.
Not merely a witch.
A cursed witch?
If you remain here, you too shall likely suffer your own destruction.
You're worried for my own well-being? Which you're not. My mind is made up.
Which would strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse?
You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale.
The witch is real, very much so. It is not a legend, nor a fairy tale. The witch The witch's name was Morgana. Is me. What was that? Giselle?
Oh my, what's the matter, Master? Why are you just standing in place? There's nothing there.
Maid did not seem to have seen anything. You made to ask her about the scene you had just witnessed.
Master, you look like you've just seen a ghost. What's the matter? How about a little rest before we move on? You do not wish to remain here? Still not fond of mirrors? Yes, yes, now let us be off. I too dearly wish for you to return to your old self as soon as possible, Master. If your desire is to push onward, then I could hardly be happier. Now, follow me.
You followed the maid's lead, returning to the living room. From there, you climbed a set of stairs, your hands sliding through the dust that settled on the ebony railing. When you stepped out of sight of the mirror, the maid returned to normal. You'd been on the verge of remembering something, but you were no longer in a position to be concerned about such things. For the chill in the air within the mansion seemed to have intensified. Standing at one end of a long corridor, you asked the maid,
When was the mansion built? I would imagine you know more about that than me, Master. Yes, I know. You have not yet regained your memories. I was simply teasing you. I've been a servant of this house for many, many years, but the truth is, I do not know everything about it. All I know is that the mansion is cursed, and that it has brought misfortune upon its residents since times of old. I can make a conjecture as to when it began, but I believe you should figure it out for yourself, Master. There is no guarantee my perspective is the correct one. Now, let us proceed.
you and the maid traveled down the dimly lit corridor. While the layout of the house was the same as in the eras of the flaxen-haired boy and the beast, the bleak, colorless gloom felt incredibly dreary. On the wall, partway down the hall, hung a painting. The painting, which depicted a beautiful landscape, was oddly entrancing, but you did not have time to appreciate the artwork. Your hand in the maid's, you passed by the painting. Before long, a door came into sight at the end of the hall.
This door is what I would like to show you next, Master. Listen closely. Do you hear the voices? Lively but rough, energetic but coarse. What lies beyond this door is neither a period of elegance and abundance like the first, nor one of ruin and savagery like the second. Technology and culture had become quite developed. Cameras and photography had been invented. It was a time of great progress and many breakthroughs. And for that reason, those who lived in it were constantly seeking to try new things. The tale I am about to tell you is one of a man who wagered everything on his ambitions. I hope that what you see, Master, will stir something in your heart. Now, through the door we go. Please do not let go of my hand.
The maid pushed open the door. Colorful balls bounced around atop a long, dark green table. One man, dressed in black, standing by the billiards table, turned towards the door. The room was inundated with eye-watering cigar smoke, causing you to squeeze your eyes shut. Let's go!
Maid.
That era was a rat race of innovation. Who?
She already knew.
Just reminding.
The smoke was so thick you could hardly see more than a few feet ahead of you. I could compare it to a dense morning fog, but that might give the impression of beauty, and of that there was little to be found in this haze. Do you see the silhouettes of several men in the smoky room? The one in the middle. The one looking in your direction, Master, was the present master of the house. His name was Jacopo?
Jacopo.
What were you going to say?
Jacopo.
Okay. And though he dressed in such fine attire, I sincerely doubt he understood how splendid the furnishings left in the mansion truly were. I am a faithful servant of this house, and I would not, for the life of me, dare speak ill of my master. However, this is a time long past. I imagine God would be so kind as to turn a blind eye to a little bit of honesty. I was not terribly fond of my master back then.
How dare you?
He had wavy hair the color of over-dried tea leaves, a piercing gaze, an arrogant smile, and he wore a hat that made him look rather haughty. He put his trust only in money, renown, and rank. He loved only the iron and steel that had revolutionized so many industries. He had not the slightest bit of love or care for other people. At the very least, that is what I believed at the time. Take a look around the room, Master. Jacopo had remodeled it into a recreation area. A billiards table sat in the center of the room, and the downward-facing lights hanging from the ceiling were special made. The lights shone upon the dark green stand like a stage. Cigars and bourbon-lined glass cases installed in place of bookshelves. The cases were always fully stocked, their contents available to partake of readily. At that particular moment, as he had many times before, Jacopo had invited several friends and acquaintances, and they were entertaining themselves. His wealthy, high-ranking acquaintances had a variety of hair colors, from polished brass to the brown of a baby robin to the color of sunburnt wheat. There was also much greater variation in skin tone compared to the visitors and residents of previous eras. But that was hardly any surprise, for the mansion sat upon land inhabited largely by immigrants, the New World.
Greg.
What's the matter? What are you looking at?
Nothing. Just thought I heard someone say my name.
Ain't no one there unless you're seeing a ghost.
I don't believe in such nonsense.
It's an old house with a long history. Wouldn't be surprised if it had a ghost or two.
What's the place gonna be haunted? I'll take a princess over a bloody broad any day.
Princess, eh? And when she showed up, you'd have your way with this ghost lady, am I right? Calling me impressed, son. You jump her bones and she don't got any to jump.
Come on now, that's hardly fair. How much you can do, even do with the ghost?
My God, are you men or children? This is my house. But I'd rather you don't talk about it like that.
Just the blabberings of a couple old drunks. And you ain't hearing nothing.
For the love of God. In any event, whatever happened to that printer you invested in? I haven't heard their name come in some time.
Can we please avoid the topic? Quite the headache for me. Thought it'd pay off, but...
It always sounds sketchy to me. I recommend you pull out unless you want to find yourself with nothing left but a nice fat pile of debt.
Could have mentioned that beforehand. This is killing me.
The men's deep voices resonated in the cloudy room. As they imbibed alcohol and puffed on their cigars, they conversed mostly about business and money. Jacopo and the rest of his men were a breed known as investors. You might also call them tacticians. They survived on information attained before anyone else by making swift decisions and having foresight. So instead of flesh and bone, their soldiers were made of ink and paper. To an outsider, this meeting might appear to be a congregation of friends, but in reality they were observing one another, gathering information and anything else they could use to get ahead. At times, money and information were exchanged directly. And when they were no longer of financial value to one another, their relationship would pop like a bubble and dissipate into nothing.
But you know, Jacopo, you can't be sure this railroad you're so passionate about is gonna bear fruit neither. You don't even know if it's gonna get finished.
When they do connect the tracks, will it really be in any shape for people to ride? It's a pipe dream. This transcontinental railroad of yours.
Jacopo went silent, but I am certain this was what was going through his head.
You're a bunch of damn imbeciles. You can't see that entire country's put their weight behind this endeavor. That's why you have so much trouble making even a few thousand.
At the time, a great railway was being built across the breadth of the continent. Construction was spearheaded by two large rail companies in competition for both prestige and a bigger share of this massive national enterprise. The Union Pacific Railroad Company started building from the east and the Central Pacific Railroad Company from the west. But government bonds alone were not enough to finance the massive undertaking.
By the way, there's been some less than pleasant reports about working dying on the job for the company you chose, Central Pacific.
You mean how they're using explosives to blast through the mountains? Making quite a bang, they are.
But this gets to be much bigger of a fix. You're not going to be able to continue construction. You should at least put your money in a more sure better to the Union Pacific.
It'll cost you to hire replacement workers, and if they keep kicking the bucket, you're gonna have trouble finding more.
My goodness. Here I thought you all had spines. You think we're gonna run out of workers just because a few ate it? Someone we don't even know what to do with them all. There's not a chance that we'll dry up. If by some chance it does, all I have to do is buy up a ship full of blacks or yellows. You won't get anywhere to spend your time worrying about a few measly laborers. It's an endeavor backed by an entire nation, that's honorable in service to the country. The biggest loss is not people's lives, but of time. The longer a project takes, the more money it costs, and the less profit we make. What we seek is rapid progress, if the methods to attain it are messy, not deadly.
The other men in the room chuckled uncomfortably at Jacopo's distasteful choice of words. Do you agree with his way of thinking, Master? Perhaps he does have a point in that great sacrifice is necessary to accomplish great things. And it is true that tragedy often lies in the shadows of the splendor of times long past. Furthermore, the way people see the world changes with the times, so I hesitate to criticize him too severely. Now, as I'm sure you've already picked up on, he was an investor who had put money into a railroad company. He also possessed several crude oil refineries, riding on the world's second wave of industrial development. The mansion, too, bustled with life in a way it never had before. Dozens of maids, including me, gardeners, chefs, sculptors, artists. At times, we even had riders coming in and out of the house. There was rarely a moment of silence. However, I was not terribly fond of the hustle and bustle, personally. But please do not get me wrong. I am hardly opposed to the mansion being cheerful. It was just, how should I put it? The splendor of the time seemed superficial, heartless. It was as though everyone was being rushed along by some unknown, invisible force. Part of it was, I expect, caused by the growing divide between those standing at the top and sitting at the bottom. Or perhaps the mansion was simply taking after its master.
There's no time to waste. Everything's resting upon the success of this project. Whatever it takes, I'll ensure it happens. I need more money and more power.
Suddenly, a restrained knock on the door stopped his train of thought. From beyond the door came a woman's voice, gentle as a soft spring breeze.
Light.
Pardon me. I have some tea. May I offer anyone a cup?
When the door opened, in it stood a beautiful woman with pure white hair. It was indeed her. Are you surprised? Or did you anticipate her appearance? Though she was not the same age and dressed differently, the white-haired girl, whom you saw fall into the hands of misfortune in the era of roses and the era of the beast, was also present in this era of innovation. Furthermore, she was Jacopo's wife.
Tea? I don't recall asking for that. And were you asked to make it?
I wasn't. I had these leaves with the most wonderful aroma, and I thought you might enjoy it.
Shut your trap and know your place. What do you think we have all these maids for?
Hey now. You don't need to treat your lady like that. I was just trying to be courteous.
These are my personal affairs. Please keep your comments to yourself.
His friends were unsure how to react, but ultimately, nobody stepped up to stop Jacopo. They merely shrugged, tossing glances at one another. Jacopo stomped over to the white-haired girl. He then grabbed her by the arm and dragged her from the den.
What the hell do you think you're doing? I told you time and again to stay away from that room unless absolutely necessary.
I'm sorry. But, I made tea.
Shut up about the tea already! You think we're having tea parties in there like a bunch of prissy nobles?
Sorry.
If you really feel so bad, why don't you go there and don't go in there in the first place? Get the hell back to your room.
I meant no harm. It's just, I'm your wife. I thought it'd be nice if I could do something.
Like I told you, that's not your job. Don't show yourself in front of the other men. I have nothing else to say to you. Got it? Now scram! Six alive, first them, now you. He's trapping me off the wall. What is it? I told you to get out of here!
Right, but,
What?
when will you spend time with me next? It has been some time since we last went out together. But we don't even have to go out. Just having dinner together.
How many times are you gonna make me repeat myself? You worthless tramp? Are those ears only for show? Go back to your goddamn room!
My apologies.
Looking utterly downtrodden, the white-haired girl made her departure. Such a piteous sight she was. As he watched her go, Jacopo merely snorted. Just thinking about the way he behaved then angers me. I have little fondness for men who do not treat their spouses with respect. So, as you can see, the white-haired girl was in hardly a joyous situation. She was devoted to Jacopo and tried to do whatever she could for him, but he not only brushed her aside, he did so in an insulting, deliberately hurtful manner. They were far from picturesque partners. Do you wonder then, Master, why she married him? The answer to that question will come to light in time. For now, let us follow her. Looking down dejectedly at the undrunken tea, the white-haired girl walked alone down the corridor. Though its calming scent filled the air, there was nobody around to have their heart warmed by it. Nor was there anyone to alleviate her loneliness. Despite being the master's wife, the maids who crossed her path in the halls said nary a word to her. As a matter of fact,
You're up, keebo.
oh dear, I beg your pardon, madam.
It's fine.
One even bumped into her, stifling a laugh as she trotted off. In all likelihood, she had done it intentionally. The poor white-haired girl who had fallen to the floor stared helplessly at the broken cup. The tea she had made for her husband was forming a stain in the carpet. The maid's behavior toward the mistress of the house was absolutely unacceptable. Nonetheless, it was commonplace, all because of the way Jacopo treated her. The more the man of the house acted cruel to her, the less weight her position as his wife held for the servants. Day in and day out, the maids worked busily, offered little opportunity for leisure, so they would naturally have accumulated quite a bit of stress. And she became the target for them to let off the steam. Not directly, but through a more subdued kind of harassment from the shadows. She must have felt quite miserable. I imagine she would have been better off as one of the maids. On the surface and in front of others, they showed respect for her as Jacopo's bride, but behind closed doors, they acted very much the opposite. The disparity between the treatment she received around others, the treatment she was supposed to receive at all times, and the way she was actually treated made the abuse that much worse. And furthermore, as you have seen through the other doors, Master, she was a very reserved young woman. She could neither raise her voice in reprimand nor raise her hand in retaliation.
I have to get this cleaned up.
She extended her spindly fingers toward the shards of shattered porcelain. But even the broken cup seemed to have no concern to spare for her. Its shattered edge cut her fingertip when she made to pick it up. A trickle of warm red blood ran across her unearthly white skin. As painful a sight as it was, it had a sort of taboo beauty to it. The blood spilling from her fingers showed no signs of slowing down. She clenched her hand into a fist, let out a sigh, and went back to collecting the shards of porcelain. But when she did...
Keebo, you're up.
I'm trying to think of what kind of voice I'm going to Madam! Madam! What's the matter? Madam, you're bleeding. While all the other maids ignored her, one came running over, shouting, to the white-haired girl's side. We need to get that cleaned and bandaged up. You don't need to pick that up. It's not your job, madam.
It's alright, Maria. It's not too much to pick up.
It is not at all alright. And the rest of you, why are you just standing there? Your boss's wife is on her hands and knees, and you're not even lifting a finger to help her. You disgust me.
Maria, it's fine. Really.
Oh, madam. If you weren't so timid, this wouldn't happen. You're allowed to yell at them, you know.
It's alright. Really. It's my fault.
Anyway, we should get that finger taken care of. Let's get you back to your room, okay?
But the broken cups and the spit.
As I said, that's the maid's work. Now come on, let's go.
Okay.
And the rest of you, get this mess cleaned up. She She roared like the wind in a thunderstorm. The other maids stood there dumbfounded, watching as she and the white-haired girl disappeared down the hall. But they were soon frowning and grumbling to one another. She thinks she can act all high and mighty just because the master is fond of her. The woman's name was Maria. She was one of the maids. And she was the one person in the mansion the white-haired girl could think of as an ally. Though her husband paid her no mind and the maids made her life miserable, just one person, Maria, treated her with respect and kindness. And I am sure you can readily imagine just how much of a lifesaver that was for her. I too found myself somewhat relieved that Maria was there for her. Being a servant of this house, I was also one of the maids working there at that time. However, I was unable to involve myself to any great degree in her fate. This meant that there was little I could do to assist her, even in times of pain and unpleasantness. The best I could do was pray that Maria could continue to lend the white-haired girl her hand. And that does it.
Thank you, Maria. You're always such a big help.
Oh, no need to thank me. I just did what any good maid would do.
No one else in this room, you know?
Oh, right. Then I can drop the act? Man, I just can't get used to talking all stuffy. I'm out there doing my best, but the head maid's still spouting stuff like, "Your manner of speaking is improper for a servant." Every single time we meet. Yeesh, come on, just shove it, would ya? You're a damn creep.
No. You mustn't speak of her that way.
Sorry, slip of the tongue. She just kind of gives me the willies, you know? Speaking of, you dropped the stuffy talk too, madam. It's kind of awkward if only one of us is acting casual, you know?
This is normal for me. If I attempted to talk like you, I would freeze up out of nervousness. This is my casual.
Fair enough. Guess that's what happens when you're raised well. I like it though. It has a very regal feel about it.
I don't think my upbringing is the only factor.
But, you know, upbringing is important. Worth a whole lot more than money, I'd say.
I suppose. Thank you, Maria. You're always so compassionate.
You betcha. They don't call me the Virgin Mary for nothing. I practically bleed compassion.
You know, that might be true. You very well could be a reincarnation of the Mother of God.
No. You were supposed to laugh at that. It's just embarrassing if you take it seriously. Alone in the white-haired girl's room, Maria was acting much more friendly and relaxed as they conversed, as opposed to her no-nonsense attitude in the hallway. The two women were, as you can see, quite close. They had crossed over the wall separating master from servant and built a bond of friendship. And at some point, they had begun to speak frankly with one another when no one else was around. Maria was the only person in the mansion around whom the white-haired girl felt comfortable being open. I imagine she very much enjoyed these moments of conversation. You wish to know who the head maid was? My. Are you sure you want to ask me that, Master? Some questions are better left unasked, for your own good. I have to say, madam, you have the prettiest fingers. Mine are all rough and dry and nasty.
You think so? Mine haven't the slightest bit of muscle. They're about as frail as dead branches.
Oh, who needs beefy mitts anyway?
I still think healthy-looking hands like yours are far more attractive.
What? What's to like about these things? Women all over the world dream of having hands like yours. Slender, feminine, and perfectly cared for. I don't know, just looking at them lights a fire in my loins. Makes me want to lick every last one of them. Actually, say, can I lick them? Can I run my tongue up and down all 10 of those sweet little digits? Come on, can I? What do you say?
Stop that, Maria. Seriously.
I'm kidding, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Maria.
Right. How do those tea leaves turn out, madam? The ones you imported. All the maids just adore it. They can't get enough of that aroma. I'd sure like to get a taste of it. If you end up with extra, you think you could spare a sip for me?
That was in the cups I dropped.
What? Really? Well, ain't that a crying shame? And Jacopo wouldn't have any of it? God, why does that man have such a stick up his ass? You went through all the trouble of making it for him, and...
He was busy. It's not his fault.
Busy? You mean playing billiards, drinking bourbon, puffing a damn cigar?
It may look to us like they are just making small talk, but I'm certain their meeting has some importance to their business. It was imprudence of me to try to step into the men's world.
That's just not right. I mean, you're his wife. Why shouldn't you be allowed into the room?
It doesn't matter.
You don't have to pretend.
Here's an idea. How would you like to have some of that tea now? We also have some orange meringue, which you like so much. Add a scoop of that and a tray of cookies, and we have the perfect tea time.
You're singing the siren song, madam. But you really should be doing that with him.
He would not have tea. I suspect he does not like it. I don't want it to go to waste, so
Adam, I know it's none of my business, and I have no place at all saying this, but it's not impossible for a woman to file a divorce these days. You don't have to sit down and take it, not one bit. You're pretty, well-educated, and still young. There's hope, even if you do leave him. There are plenty of other men out there. You aren't obligated to stick with that arrogant jerk.
he's just very busy right now.
There you go again.
There was a time when he was kind. He wasn't like this when we first met. Back then, he was a little awkward, but a kind man.
Him? A kind man?
Yes, believe it or not. There was indeed a time. Hey Maria, would you mind giving me a little bit more of your time? I'll make some tea, and we can talk.
All right. If you're telling me about when Jacopo was decent, I'm all ears.
Indeed. As I am sure you're aware, our parents arranged our marriage. Before I immigrated to this country to be married, I lived in a musty island nation. Portraits of my ancestors hung in the house where I lived. I remember as a child wincing in fear at the sight of them staring down at me. My mother and father were constantly telling me to show them respect, as it was their hard work that kept our bloodline alive. However, they were fighting an uphill battle to do the same. It would have been clear to anyone reasonably perceptive that our house was coming trembling down. Valuable furniture and paintings slowly disappeared, and eventually the portraits were gone too. As our house collapsed, so did my parents' health deteriorate, robbing us of any source of income. And though I was educated, I lacked the skills necessary to obtain work. Just as we were about to run out of money and options, my parents received Jacob's parents' marriage proposition. Both of our families stood to benefit from the arrangement. I had social status, and he had wealth. We each had what the other lacked. One needs more the money to make it in the world. Without at least a semi-perpetual name attached to you, you're liable to get laughed out of most social gatherings. I first met Chickboat here in this country. We didn't even know what the other looked like until our wedding day. To be quite honest, I was scared to death at first. I was so nervous. What kind of man would he be? Was I to be wed to some middle-aged stranger? We were not marrying because we had fallen in love like a normal couple. I knew I was in no position to be concerned with such things, and when I thought about our future, I shook with fear. But the man I saw through my veil at the wedding was remarkable. He was young, had strong, masculine eyes, and at the same time, he too appeared nervous. He was shaken so much. No, even more than me. Seeing that, the priest gave an impish little smirk when he asked Jacobs if he vowed his eternal love to me. I counted myself among the happy, and I still do. For in that moment I experienced true love. You wanted to hear about when he was kind to me? Well, after the wedding, we were given a week to ourselves. I suppose you can call it a honeymoon, though we didn't take a trip overseas or even go very far at all. He looked at me with uncertainty and asked,
Where'd you like to go?
I beg your pardon?
That's what this week is for, right? I consider granting your request, so tell me where you want to go.
This is all so sudden.
Nothing. Well, this whole engagement's spur at the moment. Normally we'd have a planned trip in advance. But unfortunately our purpose is so served as long as we act the part. You must be disappointed that you're planning your honeymoon as it's happening.
No,
What? Speak clearly. I don't like when people don't speak their mind.
I'm sorry. But, I'm happy. Even if this is a political marriage.
Well, you're quite the positive thinker. Your parents say something to make you think that way?
I am...
Well, either way, so glad to be in this arrangement. To hurry up and decide on a destination. Though there's a limit to how far a road can go. Want to take a trip, I'll consider it. What? Something funny?
It just seems comical to me that our honeymoon has begun and we're only now deciding where we want to go. Not in a bad way, though. I'm glad our parents didn't arrange everything for us. Perhaps you've heard, but I am quite sensitive to sunlight and not in the best of health. Though it would be rather trying for me to spend a full week out of the house. We couldn't go on a trip, but, if it's not too much trouble.
Speak up.
Could you show me around town? I'm new to this country and unfamiliar with its customs. And I'm rather afraid to go wandering on my own.
Show you around.
Yes. Would that be possible?
On a rare bit of time off, you asked me to show you around town? Is that really the most exciting idea you have?
I'm sorry. If, there's something you would like to go, I am fine with that. I will accompany you anywhere.
As if I could just drag someone who just professed to be sickly all over the country. My God. I lost all interest in that trip. Hello? What are you doing? Go get ready. Now.
I beg your pardon?
Didn't you want to see the town?
You will show me around?
You're the one who asked. Not like I have any other options, so yeah, I'll show you around.
Thank you.
Don't just stand there, you dullard. Gotta move on.
One moment. Wait for me, please.
He hurriedly climbed into the carriage he had called for, a look of frustrated displeasure on his face. And then, as if he had forgotten about me until that moment, I believe this is
As soon as it said the me part, I was like, ah.
Uh-oh, yeah.
He returned, grabbed me by the arm, and led me to the carriage. In retrospect, I realized he was not being very gentlemanly. But I was pleased that he was making any attempt to interact with me at all. As the carriage trotted down the streets, I saw so many new things. I'd spent most of my time cooped up inside at home. It was like stepping into an entirely new world. And add to that the rapid industrial advancement currently taking place, I saw men shouting back and forth as they smacked newspaper articles with the backs of their hands. I saw corner cafes crowded with cigar-smoking men on break from work. It was like the hustle and bustle of a festival. But every festival has its underside. I also saw overworked men looking like they were on the verge of collapse, drinking water from a spigot on the side of the road. By way of contrast, I wore fine clothing and had a carriage at my disposal. I imagine every day was a struggle for them just to remain afloat. Had I not married the man I had, I too might have found myself on the streets in a similar situation. But it was not relief that spread through me in my breast at the sight of them. It was the pangs of guilt. It felt to me like a life coupled it was wrong, sinful. It broke my heart to know that I was living so much better than them. Jacob sorted disapprovingly at me. seemingly reading my mind, and then said,
The poor man who envies the rich, covets his wealth, and finds the ambition to make the same for himself. And the rich man who pities the poor, thinking it is his duty to give them offerings of philanthropy. To me, the latter is far more nefarious. Excessive charity will ruin a man. They can come to expect handouts. And then they are those with the wrong idea of pity, who let themselves fall down to the same place, mistakenly believing it would somehow make the poor feel better. What a joke. You gonna do anything for them? You must encourage them to climb upward. Spur economic growth and a flow of capital. Does that sound like the better option?
I said nothing, simply smiling, and given an oblivious nod. He had a point. My sympathy and guilt meant nothing to people actually experiencing hardship. If feeling guilty for my own fortune, I acted upon that pity in the way he had described, it would accomplish little more than self-satisfaction. He seemed to have seen straight through to my every core. This was a man who had built his own fortune through investment, which I imagine require him to be rather astute. But doesn't a world where everyone is constantly trying to climb higher and higher sound rather exhausting? I personally would prefer to be in a position where I could watch, if only from a distance, as others climbed. But obviously, I could not say as much to him. Some time later, the carriage came to a stop in front of a shop. As I looked at the building, practically, he gestured to the door with his chin, signaling for me to get out. Lost and confused, I stepped down from the carriage and before me spread a showcase behind a large glass window. However, lined up in the glass were not precious metals or expensive clothing, but machines. At first, I had no idea what kind of devices they were.
Had you never had your photo taken before?
No. I have had portraits painted, though. Are these machines for taking photographs?
Portrait, eh? Why am I not surprised?
I do not mean to boast.
Go on, get in.
Please, wait. Wait for me. Owner came out to greet us with a wide smile as we entered the shop.
Greg.
Well, if this ain't the strangest thing I've seen all day. You bringing a lady, a real look at her at that. Where on earth you catch this pretty little thing?
She's my wife.
Huh. Well, I beg your pardon. I'll be a monkey's uncle. Just goes to show you never know where the cards may fall.
You make it sound like my getting married is some kind of miracle.
All I saw is one to choose money over love, sir. Oh, pardon me, this isn't appropriate to say that in front of your wife.
Do you often come to this shop?
On occasion, need some things here from time to time.
I see.
There you go, smirking again. What's so funny?
We're going to have our photo taken, yes? I'm so nervous and excited. I never had one before. And to have it taken side by side with you?
What are you talking about?
Pardon?
You said we were getting our pictures taken. And side by side? Please. You're sending shivers down my spine.
But this is a photograph shop?
Hey, shopkeep. The product I contacted you about. Is it ready?
Oh, yep. Sit tight. I'll be right out.
You take a seat. There's a chair over there.
What?
I'm going to show you something much more exciting than sitting still and waiting in front of a camera's lens.
Oh.
Just do as I say.
Okay. I sat down in front of a large mirror, which I presume were normally used to check your appearance before having your picture taken. Sitting before a mirror with someone else present was quite nerve-wracking. Out of embarrassment, I dropped my glaze to my knees. But when Jacobo returned, I was entranced by the curious object in his hands. What is this?
Do you know what persistence of vision is? The human eye does not perceive the world 100% accurately. This is especially true for objects in motion. It remembers images for a short time. So put a new image in the same place, your eye perceives it as in motion. Seeing it for yourself would be faster than explaining it. See those slits in the disc? Look at the bottom one and look into the mirror.
Okay.
Good. Just like that. Bring your head in close. Here goes.
Standing behind me, he slid his fingers across the top of the particular toy, causing it to spin gracefully. And then
So, what do you see?
they're dancing. A man and woman are dancing.
Sounds like you're not having any trouble seeing it. Are they dancing well?
Yes they are. It's the most adorable thing.
What? Adorable? That's funny. It has to have a model at a ballroom dance.
Yes. It's a very elegant dance. But you see, they're small, like little dwarves, which I thought was kinda cute. And they seem so close, going around and around without ever letting go of each other's hands. This is incredible. Why does it look like they're dancing? They were all lined up in a row a few minutes ago.
Goodness, I just explained that to you. It's playing a trick on your eyes. What you're seeing is lots of different pictures in a short period of time. To put it in words you might understand better. It's an illusion. Your eyes are being fooled into thinking the image is moving.
An illusion. But they're dancing, they really are. And they look like they're having a wonderful time. Are you sure it's illusion and not something else? To me, it seems not to be. I cannot see it as anything but two tiny people dancing.
That's how it works. Reach out your hand and try to grab them. You won't be able to.
You're right. That's a shame.
I didn't think you actually would.
But it's the most precious thing. They look like they're dancing on top of my palm. I was memorized by the strange phenomenon. Pictures were moving, after all. Still images had begun dancing before me. It was almost as if God had breathed life into them. He had called it an illusion. I could not grasp that. It was such an adorable, heartwarming sight. I imagined the two were off living in some other world separate from our own. They looked so happy. I was almost certain they were off dancing in their joyous world, free from all the sorrow and loneliness and pain of this one. Eventually, the speed at which they danced began to slow, as if they were resting their legs. I almost thought I could hear the sound of their feet with each step. They stopped.
They can dance forever. They don't get tired.
I see. I'm amazed. Such an incredible device exists in this world. It makes me wish I had gone outside sooner.
I'm sure someone from as distinguished a house as yours has seen plenty of amazing things with your family.
Hardly. I rarely ever left the house. I'm ignorant about the ways of the world. If you had not told me, I probably would have never known about moving pictures. Just like that one.
Do you like it?
Yes, of course.
More than the portrait you have painted?
Yes, I do. The painting was wonderful too, but
Guess you need to make up your mind. Go on, tell me, what do you like better? The portrait or this?
I like this better.
I see.
You look somewhat pleased.
Well, when it comes down to it, this is a simple trick only a child would fall for.
Then I suppose that makes me a child. If it means I get to watch something as splendid as two tiny people dancing, I'll happily fall for the trick.
Quit describing as two tiny people dancing. You're gonna lose your head that far up in the clouds.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do not know what else to describe it, though.
It's a toy called a Phenakiscope.
What is that?
How the fuck should I know?
Kisko? Pope?
Phenakiscope.
Finascus. Wheel?
Close enough. It was invented around 30 years ago. Had the shopkeep make one model at the original design.
So the shop owner drew this?
He did. A lot better than you expect, isn't he?
Yes, indeed. I am surprised he could draw something so cute.
Seth at his face and he goes red as a beet. What I give to get a load of that. Tell him next time you see him.
He's a sweet man.
By how he looks, you mean?
But it's not right to judge people based on their appearance.
I'm just kidding. Don't take it too seriously. The shopkeeper here loves new technology. That financioscope is the one such invention that caught his eye. You can trick the eye into thinking drawings are moving. Using a sequence of photos, you can perhaps make it seem as though real people are moving too. If it becomes possible to show those images to too many people at once, these developments could broaden the options artists have to express themselves.
Not drawings, but photographs?
Yes, photos. We've taken hundreds or even perhaps even thousands of photographs. We possibly reproduce the world as we see it. This room, people walking down the streets. There's no point in recording boring everyday life, though. Gonna leave a record of anything behind. Should be the project and enterprise that move nations. Say, for example, a moving record of the opening ceremony of the railroad. That'd be something worth watching. Then in time, we'll expand beyond a mere record-keeping technology and find its way into the hands of artists.
Is such a thing possible? You must remain still for a long time, just to take a single photograph.
Right now it isn't, but eventually it will be. I'm not simply fantasizing here.
Is that so? It sounds so very futuristic. Do you
What?
want to support people who work on that sort of thing? Is that why you are friends with the owner?
It's nothing to do with my wants. I merely think there's money in it. The rich starve for entertainment, and artists create that entertainment. I have no interest in their pretentious self-expression. I just want the money. What? What's so funny?
You look like you're enjoying yourself.
Honestly, it's just about the money.
As you say.
Alright, let's get moving. Next is dinner.
What? We're leaving already?
Does that displease you?
No, not at all. To tell you the truth, I want to spend a little more time playing with the FedEx bill, but I could not bring myself to say as much. Reluctantly, I approached the owner to return the wheel.
Don't bother. Bring it with you.
But
You don't want it, that's fine too. Just make your decision quickly. You're making the driver wait.
having said that, Jacobo exited the shop. I alternated between looking at his back, then at the FedEx wheel, debating what I wanted to do. And then, with a smile, the owner whispered to me.
You're allowed to keep it. Really. Your husband out there had it made as a gift for you.
For me?
A little while back, he came to my shop asking if I could make a fan. I just looked this up, by the way. Like, I see your guys were doing this. Phenakistoscope. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Phenakistoscope. Yes. No, that about knocked me out of my chair. man who almost never asks for favors. He's pretty damn brusque. He's got a tongue sharp enough to cut steel. But he's not wicked to his core, I swear it. So please, ma'am, be a pillar of support for him. Phenakistoscope.
Phenakistoscope.
In that moment, the phenakesis wheel became a precious treasure to me. We had only just married days earlier, and yet he had commissioned it for me without even knowing what I looked like. I was filled with warm, pleasant elation. I agreed with the owner. Jacopo was not a bad man. He merely had difficulty expressing himself. Early back to the carriage, I gave him my deepest thanks. He glanced over at me for a moment, then back towards the window and muttered,
Yeah.
From there, we went to a restaurant for dinner.
Call this a pizza? This crust an atrocity. It's like I'm chewing on rubber. I can wave my country's flag and not serve spaghetti. Do you have any shame at all? This wine is pitifully imbalanced. Far too high levels of acidity. Listen to me carefully. The house wine is the face of a restaurant.
He complained about every little thing. It was a complete disaster. But curiously enough, I was not at all put off by his behavior. When the sun set and the carriage made its way to a nearby hill, the cool nighttime breeze felt wonderful on my skin, lush from the alcohol and a light from the gas lamps had a comforting warmth to it. Though Jacopo had complained about the quality of the wine. Once he had intoxicated himself, his mood improved visibly. It made him unsuspectingly talkative.
Look out the city. A gloomy town that shuts down at night has a serious expansion or growth, but the city isn't like that. You can see people walking beneath their lamps. You can hear the bustle of them talking. This is a city that still has plenty of room to grow. As a rising wave of the economy, many more people gather here. More people means more money in circulation. More money in circulation means the city grows. Companies are founded, and more goods are bought and sold.
Will it really change so drastically?
It can be difficult to see what's happening from the inside. The majority of people just go about their daily lives, and the next thing they know, things are different. No, what made you most don't notice the changes at all? Only those with eyes sharp enough to realize what's happening can see success. Can't afford to overlook even the most minute change.
Do you have a dream of some kind?
A dream? I'm not sure it's easy enough to attain to call it a dream. Others might call it greed or perhaps ambition. Don't laugh now. My intention is to make the world mine.
The world.
Yes, the world. To do that, you need neither physical strength nor kindness, but money and influence. You have no choice but to kneel before these forces.
Why are you so intent on obtaining power?
Because I want to change my country, I imagine.
Your country?
You're aware that I, like you, am an immigrant, right? I immigrated from an island in the Mediterranean. They're not the same island as you. My country is a peculiar place where candor and violence go hand in hand. As a whole, the country is on the poor side. Nobody does anything about that. I am one of but a few of my fellow countrymen has set his sights on the new world. They are falling behind other nations. If I find success here, perhaps that would catch their attention. If it doesn't, then my country is doomed to collapse.
You have much love for your homeland.
Feelings are a little more complicated than mere love. But that's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Well, I have to remember not to get myself drunk around women again. Forget everything I just said. It's about time we head back to the house.
Alright, but
What is it?
is it alright if I provide you encouragement as you try to attain your dream? I know my presence is more likely to be a hindrance, but I would like to be there to watch as you trek forward.
I suppose. Do you wish?
Thank you. You have my support then. Darling.
Sent a shiver down my spine. Though not an unpleasant one. I'm glad to have you as my partner.
I was without a doubt happy then. His smile, the things he said, the Psaxis wheel he gave me, they were all undoubtedly real. And those memories gave me the will to wait. For the day things go back to the way they were. They allow me to believe.
So,
It's very jazzy in French, if you haven't noticed. Weakling. How dare you, partner? Just you guys wait.
oh,
Question marks.
Go ahead, Keebo. Go ahead, Keebo.
This is something that actually happened to another maid. She heard a sound in the middle of the night. A sound like dripping water. At first, she thought it was raining, so she looked through the window, and there wasn't a cloud in the sky to cover the stars. Maybe it's a faucet, she thought, so she stepped out of her room and into the corridor. Compared to her room, it was unearthly chilly. The maid regretted not bringing something to cover herself with. But that didn't make any sense. Normally, the temperature wasn't that much colder outside her room. Her night clothes had always been more than enough for a trip to the lavatory. Wondering what the reason could be, she made her way toward the sound. But then she realized something. There were no faucets in the direction she was going. Rather, she was headed toward a hall. The mansion where she served had many halls, but this one was off in a far corner of the house, the least used hall of them all. It had a high roof, but not a lot of space, so it was difficult to make good use of. It also had a somewhat heavy air to it, a very curious room. It was the kind of place you might assign someone to clean as part of their hazing. Anyway, when the maid realized the sound was coming from that particular hall, she, as you might expect, let out an uncomfortable sigh. But there might be a leak, and having noticed, she couldn't simply ignore it, you know? So, as much as she hesitated, she pushed open the doors to the hall. There was nobody there, and it didn't look like anything was leaking, either. There were no puddles or water stains anywhere to be found. But she could still hear the sound, drip, drip, getting louder and louder. Slowly stepping further into the room, looking left, then right, then left again, she searched for the source of the sound, coming to a stop in the center of the hall. She stood there still, quiet, and then a chilly spot on the nape of her neck. With a little yelp, she reached back to feel her neck, but it wasn't wet. Confused, she slowly, warily tilted her head backward. And there hung a bloody skeleton from the ceiling.
Ah!
That's rich. Amazing. Oh my god, you scream like a little girl.
Maria, you little...
My god, are you men or children? This is my house, and I would rather you didn't talk about it like that. Whose words were those again?
Shut your mouth! How do you know about that? Were you eavesdropping? Another thing, I do not care for that sort of stupid, fantastical tales of you women so low to pass around.
Because they scare you? You've never been able to handle anything scary, Yakupo. Whoa. Don't glare at me like that. You're gonna destroy my side.
So, did you come here for the sole purpose telling me that cheap tripe?
Acting tough after the fact just makes you look like twice as much of a wuss. Well, I mean, I did make up a good half of it, but the maid really did hear a sound in the middle of the night. And it came from the back hall of this very mansion. Did you know they say it used to be a chapel?
Again, I have no interest in you women little ghost stories.
Is that so? You sure you're not just scared?
Maria!
Well, that said, the rumors aren't completely unfounded. This is a pretty old mansion, and it's had a lot of work done on it. Kind of feels like it's barely holding itself together. Like a big old quilt with pieces from all different time periods. Back hall is one of the oldest patches. There's a huge window on the far end, and supposedly there used to be stained glass in it. It was a depiction of an archangel, they say. Such a shame. I wonder when it was broken. If it were still there, I bet it'd be worth a fortune.
I find it hard to believe. First of all, why would anyone put a chapel inside a mansion?
You've got a point, I guess.
Now, how about you do some actual work instead of distracting yourself with all this nonsense?
I do work. But, other maids can be a bit nasty, you know? Dealing with other women is like walking on glass.
Am I to blame for that?
What if I said you were? Don't give me that look. They're just not fond of me, simple as that. Nothing you can do about it.
Is that so?
Oh yeah, I was talking to the madam. She was telling me you used to be quite the gentleman. Were you perhaps actually in love back then? You sure don't act like it, so it's easy to miss. But I guess you're not made entirely out of steel. Just like when you were younger, you're still...
Do not speak of that. The past is not worth remembering. It's unnecessary.
So, to you, the past exists just to be cast aside? Nah, it's not important. You don't want me to talk about it, I won't talk about it. But your wife... Never mind. I'll leave you be. I have to get back to work soon, and I'll be staring down the head maid's Arctic smile.
Alright.
If a fancy strikes me, I'll drop by and we can trade more ghosts.
Maria.
What? No ghost stories?
No, not that. I had not forgotten those days. But, no,
I'll be off then.
Alright. If fancy strikes you, just drop by and we can trade something other than ghost stories.
What'd I tell ya? I'll consider it. Goodbye.
God damn it. Can't skip anything.
They have grown to be so beautiful. Such a wonderful fragrance. The scent of roses so calming. I wonder why that is. Would it cause any trouble if I pick one?
Well, hello there. Out for a midnight stroll, are you? Quite the peculiar hobby. Madam?
I cannot spend as much time as I would like outside during the day. So I end up coming out at night. I apologize if I startled you.
Oh no, not at all. There's a chilling, captivating beauty to the sight of your snow-white form standing there in the moonlit garden.
I would hardly... What are you doing out so late?
I saw a figure through the window. On the slight chance it might be a burglar, I thought it my responsibility to ensure they did not break in. It was also the middle of the night when the grocer's servant broke into their safe. News of that spread quite far. I am sure you would have heard about it. Oh, but Gamache was imprisoned some time ago. Dear me, I cannot seem to get my head out of the past. Do you intend to give that white rose to someone?
Yes. I was thinking about giving it to my husband. Well, I expect him. He has a little fondness for such feminine tastes. The scent of flowers has a calming, truly calming effect. He might find it relaxing when he needs a refreshment from his work.
Oh, is that so? You are very kind-hearted. Speaking of white roses, the rose he meant to give you was the same shade of white.
Oh, he?
But when you touched it, it turned a deep shade of red.
Knew it.
Mm-hmm. We gotta stop meeting like this.
I know, we got to.
There was but a single white rose in the garden, so he was unable to give it to you as he had wished. In its place, he had a decorative rose fashioned for you.
Exactly what are you referring to?
Oh dear, do you not remember?
No.
Then am I to assume you have forgotten what happened to the rose accessory as well? He was unable to give that to you either. But that time because you rejected the gift. I am not criticizing you for that decision, of course. You had a perfectly good reason for not accepting it. Heartbroken from having lost you, he buried the rose in this garden. Over the years, the roses in the garden withered away, and in their place grew a thick, unsightly nest of weeds. Many, many years later, that accessory was dug up by a beast. And curiously enough, it had not a speck of rust on it.
Beast.
You do not remember him either?
No.
The foreign man who, through his interaction with you, almost regained his humanity?
I'm sorry. I have no idea what you speak of. The only gift I have ever received from a man is my Phoenix wheel. And furthermore, I have only lived in this mansion for a year. While the garden was not thriving as it is now, it was certainly not in ruins when I arrived.
Because I had been taking care of it, yes. But for whatever reason, by my hands alone, I was unable to make it into anything quite as splendid as it is now. Once you arrived and began to work on it, however, just look around. You restored it to its former glory, to the magnificence of the flaxen-haired family's time. I promise I'm not trying to fault you for anything. Now that I think about it, it makes sense you wouldn't remember. Though you are still you, you are different than before. Different, though not in the sense you are a wholly distinct person. Tell me, is your name again?
My name is... Yes. But you should already know that. Again?
More proof that you are, indeed, you. Did you know that your current name is pronounced the same as the name of the person you're waiting for?
What are you talking about?
I have met you many times, and I know of your past, of events that transpired long, long ago.
I'm telling you the truth. I first came to this mansion just a year ago. Until then, I had never left my country, or even stepped foot on my own house. We did not have any servants either. So where, then, are you saying we met?
This mansion, of course.
Of course. But I'm telling the truth. It was a year ago, shortly after my parents fell ill and received an offer for my marriage. I knew something had to be done. I knew it. And I'm telling the truth.
If that is what you remember, then I do not doubt you. But I also suspect I know why you seem so flustered. Are there moments when your memories seem hazy? When it seems like important details have fallen through the cracks? You needn't fret. One day, eventually, you shall remember all. One day.
What the hell is this? A white rose. Did she leave this here? Flower? What does she think she's doing? Is she trying to aggravate me? That garden. The damn rose garden is the whole problem. Flowers serve no purpose but to deceive. That garden is a sign of weakness. It has no place in this house.
Approximately a week had passed since then. The white-haired girl was, as usual, spending her time in a room reading, staying inside the house. Then Maria barged in. "Madam! Madam!"
Oh my, you're out of breath. What happened?
What happened is we have a big problem. The garden, the rose garden.
The garden?
All the roses you put so much love and care into growing are being chopped down. We'll lose them all if we don't hurry. Upon hearing the news, the white-haired girl dashed from the room and toward the garden, with Maria following close behind. When she arrived, she saw a dozen or so sweaty, rugged men at work, Jacopo shouting orders. The men clearly had no concept of how much a single flower was worth, no concern whatsoever for their beauty. where they mercilessly, thoughtlessly hacked away at the shrubs like they were naught but weeds. Each flower they tore from the earth extinguished another of the many lives the white-haired girl had put so much time and effort into tending for. Jacopo, what are you?
Oh, hello, Maria. I didn't expect you would come with her.
Why would you do that?
Why? Well, it goes without saying. This house has no need for a garden. Damn flowers have no place here. Might as well do something worthwhile with this soil. Miniature railroad would be better use of the space. It's a great deal easier on the eyes. Couldn't even get my hands on some genuine wheels. The same wheels being used on the revolutionary transcontinental railroad. 20 years down the line, they'll be worth a fortune.
Jacopo.
You know how much this garden meant to me, don't you? Did it honestly have no place here? Flowers have a calming effect on people. They give you peace. They are not, by any means, worthless.
So you're saying that White Rose is a passive-aggressive way of telling me to calm down?
Not at all. I simply thought you...
At the end of the day, you're just using them for your own purposes. To trick and deceive. To you, this rose garden is nothing but...
Jacopo! You've gone too far. This isn't right.
Gone too far? This is my mansion. What I do with my property is my business. That rose arch out of the picture? But a much better view. There won't be anything blocking the sun any longer. Weren't you supposed to be sensitive to sunlight? Spend too much time out here, you'd be liable to fall ill. Get back inside now. You too, Maria.
The poor thing, though she did not say a word, was surely thinking.
Are you truly...
that... I didn't know if you were going to read it or not.
Are you truly that determined to rob me of my sanctuary?
The words swirled around in her head, unable to make the final journey to her lips. She stood there, looking down at her own feet as her husband marched off, and listened to the screams of the roses being reaped. After being torn down by Jacopo, the garden reverted to a state of ruined desolation. A shame, after all the work that went into restoring it to the beauty it had under the flaxen-haired family. And as Jacopo had said, in its place went scraps of metal, train wheels, prototype models, carbon rods. These items may have had value for him, but I certainly do not think it was worth robbing his wife of a place that made her feel comfortable just so he could store them there. Besides, I was rather fond of the rose garden myself. The roses seemed to evoke a sense of nostalgia in me. I felt as though, somewhere far beyond the edge of my memories, I had seen another garden of roses, modest though it may have been. But I cannot remember when it was. Was that kind of a surprise to you? I'm quite sure there are periods of the mansion's history of which I'm not aware. But in any case, Jacopo had caused many people great pain in order to repurpose that garden for himself. And he continued to walk all over his wife. Whenever she tried to do something kind for him, he would brush her off, saying,
That's not your place.
He paid no mind whatsoever to the looks of dejection that rose to her face each time he rejected her. I was beginning to wonder if anything she had said about the man he had been a year earlier was actually true. And if it was true, could a person really go through such a drastic change of heart in such a short time? What do you think, Master? No, I've spoken enough about me already. I seem to be talking a lot about myself this time. But that is hardly appropriate behavior for a maid. Now, let us return to our tale. That evening, the white-haired girl sat in her room staring sorrowfully at her Phenacus wheel. A small mirror before her, she tried spinning the paper disc. But it was just not the same as before. Her husband was not there at her side, and even more critically, there was not a smile on her face. And then she heard a faint knock on her door.
Who is it?
It's me, madam. It's me. May I come in?
Oh, Maria. Of course, come in. What are you doing here at this time of night?
I was just wondering how you were doing. Should I have left you alone?
Oh, it's no trouble at all. I'm always glad to have you.
You're making me blush, madam. I got the feeling you were a little down in the dumps. So I'm not here because I need you. I just kind of ended up here, I guess.
Maria.
Sorry, I'm not making any sense. I can be a bit of a busybody, you know? Trouble with boundaries, I guess. Never been able to fix that.
No, I don't consider you intrusive at all. I cannot count how many times your bright smile and cheerful energy have shone a light on me when things are dark. If I didn't have you, I would have given up on you. You seem to see right through me. Even now, you are exactly right. I am feeling a little disparate. Back Garden was even bigger. Life was even bigger without Brett than I thought. Perhaps I am being overly dramatic, but the roses were almost like children to me.
I get it. I do. You put your heart and soul into tending that garden. It was obvious how much you loved them. Of course it's going to hurt watching a bunch of men stomp all over your flowers when you cared for them like your own children. Now, I know I said this once already, but you don't need to force yourself to put up with him. Really. You don't have to bend to his will just because you're a woman. You can survive without him. Anytime you want to walk away, that's your choice. I mean, I'd sure be lonely if you left, madam. But your happiness is more important than any of that. So, you know.
Thank you, Maria. I really do appreciate it. But I would still like to wait For the day I see him. See his warm smile once more.
If you say so. Well, in that case, guess I'll just have to be there to back you up. It'll be alright. You leave everything to this holy virgin. I'll have a stupid grin on my face no matter how down you're feeling.
You really are the reincarnation of the mother of God, aren't you?
Oh, you. I told you, it's just a joke. Whatever. So, hey, madam, how about a dance?
A dance? At this time of night?
Yep, and since it's so late, no loud music. All you get is a little whistling, courtesy of me.
But this room is too small for...
We'll use the Great Hall.
Wouldn't that put us in everyone else's way? Who would probably complain about the noise too.
No need to worry. Jacopo's out inspecting some factory or something today. After that, he's got a meeting, so he'll be staying the night elsewhere. The rest of the maids are in their rooms chatting away. No one will notice. Where I come from, we dance all the time. We take eat, drink, and be merry to heart. No food or drink for us, but we absolutely can dance. Dancing's a great way to forget all your cares.
I am not much of a dancer.
No big deal. Nobody's watching. Come on, put on a little fancy perfume and let's have some fun.
I don't have any perfume though.
Didn't think so. You've got all the right ingredients, madam, but you don't try to make anything special out of them. You've got so much potential, but not even a decent-sized wardrobe. At the very least, you should wear some perfume. Which is why, ta-da! I brought some with me. The maids are in love with this stuff. It's a big hit with women all over the country. The base is vanilla, and it's got several other fragrances mixed in. Give it a try. It smells divine.
But, Maria,
Come on, what's the harm? Just a little splash on your wrist, like so. What do you think?
You're right. It smells wonderful.
Doesn't it? So you like it?
Yes, very much so.
Excellent. Now, off we go to the Great Hall.
Are we really going to dance?
You bet your butt we are. It's not healthy to hole up in your room all day. I know you can't handle a lot of sunlight, but you still gotta have some fun and move your body. Come on, let's go.
No, Maria.
Though she looked outwardly uncertain as Maria led her forward, hand around her wrist, the white-haired girl seemed to be enjoying herself on the inside. Having spent her life without a single friend, she never dreamed the day would come when she would find herself being dragged through the empty halls of a dark mansion by another woman. Maria's presence seemed to shine a light upon the quiet corridor. It would have been a very lonely trek without her. Maria spun around, gave an impish smirk, and raised her pointer finger to her lips with a soft shh. The sight of it caused the white-haired girl to chuckle quietly. The two of them, on their way to their secret private ball, were like two adolescent girls. In short order, they arrived at the Great Hall.
My heart is pounding all the way here.
What's there to be nervous about? It's not like you're breaking any rules. Only kids get in trouble for staying up late. Once you've grown up, you're responsible for yourself.
I will say, though, that it seems rather odd for two women to dance together.
Oh? If you're having a good time, what does it matter what's between your legs? Where I come from, there are dances where families lock arms in a big ring and go round in circles. So who says two girls can't have some fun together?
I imagine you've had many good moments with your family.
Well, I don't have a family anymore.
What?
Alright, so I'll show you how it's done. Watch carefully, because you're up next.
Okay.
With a wide grin on her face, Maria began whistling softly and prancing across the floor with an energetic rhythm. It was not the kind of complicated dance you'd see at fancy parties. The motions were simple, flowing, unembellished, a folk dance, I suppose you might call it. She seemed to be improvising a little bit as well. But in any event, the white-haired girl was captivated. Despite it being a sequence of steps anyone could replicate, Maria breathed life into the dance. She was neither as lithe as an acrobat nor as light on her feet as a professional dancer. She was her own lively, beautiful self. Maria twirled in place, the skirt of her maid uniform billowing gently up around her. With a smile, she extended her hand toward the white-haired girl. She hesitated for a moment, but as if being pulled forward by some invisible force, she took Maria's hand. Hand in hand, Maria ushered the white-haired girl into her dance. It was just the two of them, but you could almost see the crowd forming around them. The other people stepping up to join in. That's it, madam. Doing great. Now lift your leg up, good, and spin like so.
This is not easy, Maria. I'm having trouble following along.
You can do it. Looking good so far. You're a natural, madam.
Oh, Maria. I won't fall for your flattery.
I mean it. The whispers of the two girls. Their muffled laugh. Step, hop, step, step. The rustling of fabric. Many different soft sounds layered atop one another, creating a little bubble of happiness in the center of the hall. The white-haired girl's movements were a great deal clumsier than Maria's, but Maria would never disparage her for that. On the contrary, she showered her with praise. As flustered as the white-haired girl appeared, I imagine she was quite pleased. Before long, the tightness in her face muscles loosened, a smile spread across her lips, and she began to brighten up. See? What'd I tell you? Fun, huh?
Yes. I am quite surprised. Both that I can dance and that I enjoy doing it so much.
Glad to hear it. They exchanged looks and both laughed. That might have been the first time I'd ever seen the white-haired girl so delighted. However, because of her infirmity, she quickly found herself out of breath, her porcelain skin flushed red. Maria immediately stopped for a break. She could surely have continued dancing for some time yet, but Maria was conscientious of the white-haired girl's physical condition. She looked over at Maria regretfully.
My apologies. If only I had more stamina. I am hardly a suitable partner for you, Maria.
Sure you are. This is all to cheer you up, madam. So as long as you're having fun, nothing else matters. And heck, I'm enjoying myself plenty too. What do you think? Wouldn't it be nice to do this again sometime? Whenever you're feeling down, let's dance.
If you really did enjoy dancing with a frail girl like me, then I would be glad to.
Have a little more confidence in yourself, madam. You're so pretty and kind-hearted. I have loads of fun when I'm with you. So you don't need to be so hard on yourself, got it?
Thank you.
The pleasure is mine. It is an absolute honor to have the rare opportunity to see such a bright smile on your face, madam.
My apologies for keeping you out so late. I should get back to my room.
Oh, I didn't even realize what time it was. I'm more than up for a little more gum flapping.
You have improved my mood more than adequately. I would not want you to be tired for work tomorrow.
Okay. Well then, let's get out of here.
Yes, let's.
Smiles on both of their faces, they made to exit the great hall. However, before they reached the door, it swung open. A man's towering shadow cast the two women into darkness, his cold, bitter glare affixed on them. If I'd had even the faintest premonition this might happen, I would have done anything in my power to stop the two cheery girls on their way to the hall. But I am eternally powerless.
What are you doing?
Standing before them in the doorway was the master of the house, Jacopo.
I thought you would be not back until tomorrow.
How would you know that? No, forget that. Does my staying the night elsewhere have any effect on you? You were just waiting for this opportunity, weren't you?
No. What What would I possibly want you out of the house for?
I'm sure you know better than anyone. What does that smell? Perfume? Where did you get perfume? I have to say, you seem to be having quite the time. Look at you. You're out of breath, red as a beet. I made the right decision coming back. Where the hell were you going?
No, I wasn't going.
Jacopo, calm down, seriously.
You shut it. Now you're taking this tramp's side. I told you before, you're not to leave this house without first consulting me. Or do you mean to tell me you've forgotten? God, your ears are just for show. Alright, they're better than that. They even throw out the parts you don't want to hear.
No, I swear, I was not doing anything you...
Silence! I have no interest in your excuses. You're always watching from the shadows, observing, trying not to step on anyone's toes. And in the back of your mind, you're mocking me.
No, I...
Listen up and listen good. You just tried stepping out of line again. You just tried disgracing me again. You will not get away with it. For the love of God. Get back to your room. Now! You too, Maria!
All right.
God, what is this sickeningly sweet smell? How utterly infuriating. Take forever to get this off of me. I always thought you had at least some sense of taste.
Why did he have to disparage her so? What did she do wrong? What did she do to deserve that? He did nothing whatsoever wrong. She deserved none of the ridicule he showered her with. However, she was not a strong-willed woman. She did not have the courage to retort to the man yelling at her. And neither did Maria, it seemed. Without another word, they both scrambled out of the great hall, away from Jacopo. The white-haired girl was a painfully miserable sight to behold. The cheer had drained from her spirit, and the rosy hue from her now pale cheeks. She was hunched forward slightly, looking like a small, scared animal. Say, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. If I hadn't asked you to dance, and me bringing the perfume only made things worse.
No. You need not feel bad about anything. Everything you did was with my best interests at heart. Oh, don't worry. I will be fine.
So, madam, I'll clear everything up. I really am to blame, after all. He wouldn't even give you the time of day if you tried. He's a stubborn little shit when he's mad. I'll talk to him. He's more likely to listen to me. I'll make sure he knows he was jumping to conclusions, that I'm the one who dragged you out there to dance. And also that I forced you to wear the perfume. I'll clear everything up, okay? So please, cheer up.
It would be best if I could tell him myself. But yes, you're right. He would likely not listen to me. He rarely ever listens to me. I should be ashamed. I cannot hold a simple conversation with my own husband.
These things happen, you know? It's not easy being married, in a lot of ways.
Yes, you're right. I apologize for having you do something so unpleasant, but I would appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. I'm happy to. No need to apologize. I've got this. I'll dunk his head in cold water until he's not blowing steam from his ears anymore. I'll cool him down, promise. And you never know. Maybe he'll be open to listening. You could be back to the way you were a year ago in no time. Don't you worry, I'll take care of it, madam. Be positive. You look so much better with a smile on your face.
All right. Thank you.
I doubted Jacopo would listen, even coming from Maria. And I imagine the white-haired girl felt much the same way. However, she grabbed onto that sliver of hope. She let herself dream. She let herself believe, even just faintly, that everything would go well. Such is human nature. When uncertainty has you in its clutches, you grasp at whatever hope you can find to keep yourself afloat. That night, she did not sleep. She was afraid that even in her dreams, Jacopo would be shouting at her. She felt as though her memories of a year prior were beginning to crumble away. And we've kind of gone over Greg's time frame, I think. You okay?
Yeah,
Greg?
it's all good. I didn't want to cut it off in the middle of it.
How's
Yeah,
your
I kept thinking that it was going to get to the chapter break quicker.
I'm over here like, damn, how long is this thing, man? No, but it was another good, section. I'm enjoying all of this so far. I don't really have a lot of complaints. We're talking about the story or the characters. I enjoy everything. I think Maria is like one of my favorite characters.
Something bad's going to happen
so
to
far.
Maria.
Maria's very like, it feels like more of a outsider. When I mean outsider, I mean someone looking from the outside into this, visual novel. Very normal person. I was also surprised to see that she was using some curse words. That's not something we really saw. I mean, probably because the times didn't have any curse words back then, so now we're at the point where it's like, okay, those are, I guess, common now. So I was a little surprised by that.
Not exactly.
No?
I also liked all the drop G's because I could use my accent.
Actually, I would have encouraged you to use your accent more because you could have just said you're from the South. It's from America and all.
Yeah.
I need to stop talking like this. Shit. Yeah, like I said, you can probably just use your Southern accent more because this is America that we're in now. 1879, I think.
Yeah, she's talking about big dances and stuff.
That's close.
Probably like barn dances.
It feels too normal, man. Feels weird.
Oh no, she's not normal at all.
Okay.
You don't see the hidden lines.
Yeah, the whole like finger licking thing that made me uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't even sus. That was like in your face. Like, what is that?
She's just a bit curious,
I kind of wanted to make it worse.
Like, it was very descriptive.
She was just being friendly. That's all.
Oh my goodness. Crazy. But, that's it for me for now, but I was gonna say, I don't know if it's possible, I don't know schedule of anyone, I know Kilo's about to go on vacation. I'm
Yes, you're
available
about to
on
go to.
Sunday, if that means anything, unless if you'll be gone by then.
No, we'll reconvene
I'll be
Saturday, the
traveling Sunday.
17th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Saturday the
Deal.
17th. This will be our first Saturday in a while, so it's going to be special.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be the second day of my vacation, of me staying at home and doing nothing.
Stay in vacation.
Staycation.
Staycation, there you go, that's what I was looking for.
Staycation.
That's the best kind.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right then. I hope you took something for your developing headache. They're the worst.
I'm just ready to like lay in the coffin right now. I will say I want to I'll probably review the stream to make sure I capture everything. There were moments where I'm like, oh, like my head hurts, like ah. So I sat back and like, fortunately there were no lines for me.